Hello, hello, hello. Hello today. Uh, this is my second YouTube live, you guys. So I am feeling a little bit nervous about this, and yet here we are. Here I am. First of all, I wanted to thank everybody that showed up last time for when went over my new deck, the Witchcraft Therapy Oracle. I so appreciated you guys coming and showing up and all of that. That was so great. So thank you so much for that. So I'm kind of just hopping on here right now because I am responding to some things that I've been seeing, some things that I've been feeling. So it's been a little while since I've done an energy update. Usually these things kind of come through when they come through. And usually it comes through based on the kind of unique cohort of things that I'm kind of reading into in the collective or seeing in people I work with. And so right now I wanted to talk a little bit about the kind of bullshit in the spiritual niche, which is something that I talk about a lot. So that's not really new for anybody that is here with me for a while. But right now it's kind of becoming more of a public conversation again, based on this whole Aubrey Marcus fiasco. I don't know if anybody is following that. From what I can tell, he's some sort of spiritual bro that is showing himself to be exactly who he has claimed to be, which is somebody who uses manipulation kind of tactics wrapped up in this sort of flowery spiritual nonsense. And this is something that I literally cannot fucking stand, you guys. When I named all of my channels, when I write my books, when I do all my stuff, I am catering to a population that is so wholly and fully sick of that shit. And so for me, I will say it is a particular sticking point, trigger point for me when people use spirituality, when people use this idea of like ascension, which is another thing that triggers the shit out of me. This idea that we can somehow transcend or like ascend beyond the mundane physical plane, the messy reality of the human experience, which in my personal opinion is actually where the magic happens, right? Is we have to be grounded and we have to have an understanding that this life that we are in, we are being misled in such a massive fucking way with this insane desire that we think we have to ascend or transcend, because it's hard, right? Like the messy reality of being human being is fucking hard. Like it just is. It's a hard thing. So of course, if we see things out there that are trying to sell us this version of spirituality that makes it seem like there is some way to bypass, to move around, to work around the messy realities of what it's like to be a fucking human being, that's really compelling to us. But unfortunately, I think as a society, as a people, and as a niche, right? I think everybody in the spiritual niche has a certain amount of responsibility to call that shit out, to not be okay with that shit. And at the very fucking least, don't perpetuate that shit, right? Because it's really just driving people astray in such a massive, massive way. So if anybody here is watching this, and if you are new to me or if you are somebody who's been here for a while, feel free to say hi. Feel free to drop your thoughts in the chat as well, because I personally, in human design terms, I love to respond to things, which is partly why I'm doing this. So when I heard this Aubrey Marcus drama, I don't usually pay attention to what spiritual influencers do because I find them, for the most part, so wholly fucking annoying. And I'm trying not to be judgmental about that, but I'm a Virgo sun, Capricorn moon, Libra rising, so it is what it is. But basically when I saw that, I had this urge to respond in such a big way, because I feel like it's really a symptom of a bigger problem. And this bigger problem is this idea of this idea of what we claim to want, what is inspiring to us, what is aspirational to us, and how much of a gap there is between that and the messy, lived, actual reality of what fucking life is. Okay. And that's a big thing. So I don't know if you guys have heard the phrase or the saying or the term that people don't want things, they want to feel a certain way, right? So if people are looking out and they're looking at some spiritual influencer's life, what we are seeing is such a highly curated presentation of reality that it's mind-bogglingly fucking wrong and skewed. So every time we see these people, they're putting on a show to some degree. Now, I'm not saying their personal spiritual practice is performative. I think spirituality, part of my book, Feral Self-Care, right? Spirituality is a fundamental dimension of being a human being. We have a spiritual nature, regardless of whether you're a person who identifies as an atheist, whether you're a person who identifies as agnostic, nothing like that. As human beings, we are deeply spiritual people. So, yes, some people are going to look like their spirituality is, I don't know, fucking flouncing around in Tulum in goddess robes, right? Maybe it's being on a yacht with a bunch of fucking models. That's not for me to say whether or not they're spiritual people. It's when it's packaged up and it becomes narcissism, it becomes gaslighting, it becomes this thing where you're kind of justifying really, truly shitty fucking behavior in order to make yourself seem like you're so evolved. You're so evolved. So I try. Okay, so I don't know if you guys are following this Aubrey Marcus thing. I try to. I'm a live and let live person. People know this about my world. That I'm live and let live. I try not to comment on what other people say, do, or whatever. But there's something about this that I felt compelled to respond to, and so I'm just honoring that. That's just it. I don't know anything about him. I don't know anything about his new harem. I'll get into that. But what I do know is that as a person who has been in a relationship for like 20 years, the idea of treating somebody the way that it looks like he is treating these women is absolutely abhorrent to me. And wrapping it up in spiritual practice, spiritual jargon, spiritual word salad is really what it is. It is absolutely fucking unreal, you guys. And the comedian in me is just like dying to get out on this. So that might happen. Apologies if it does. So I'm just going to look at the chat here. And guys, pop in the chat if you know what I'm talking about, if you have questions, if you have anything you want me to speak to, or just if you want to say hi, guys, because this is my second YouTube live and I'm a little bit nervous here. Okay. So Gina. Oh, hey, Gina. Hey, Mandi. Aubrey Marcus had a nootropics company called On It. He was besties with Joe Rogan, who amplified him. He was famous for polyamory and destroying this girl's life. Well. It looks like we've come full circle then. I didn't know he was a spiritual influencer now. Yeah, it seems like he's got some sort of like I mean the way he speaks is certainly in spiritual influencer ease, which is like I've decided to open my marriage, but it's because God told me to. God told me when I was at the gym to get on the dating apps. God told me, or a goddess told me to impregnate all of these women. That is my divine calling in life. I cannot. So it seems like he's doing that same thing again. As he went the like, oh, we're doing a sacred union thing, which is another fucking sacred union. Sacred union. If you use that term, all the best to you. But anyway, it seems like he's kind of doing the same thing right now, but to his wife. And it seems very heartbreaking for her, but it seems like she is gaslighting herself into saying that it's exactly what she wanted. Thing about people in these situations is they tend to talk about how blissfully happy they are at the same time as saying how hard it is and how they're having to put their own feelings aside and how they're having to sacrifice. The thing that was upsetting to me was seeing him talk about this situation, despite the fact that it looked like he was clearly there was a power imbalance, and clearly there was clearly there's a power imbalance. And clearly it was painful for his actual wife that he had this sacred union with. Now, what this comes through for me, energetically speaking, is this bigger issue. And first of all, I just want to rewind and say, isn't it convenient that these men who are hearing messages from God, which is usually their fucking ego, it's so convenient that it's always telling them to go bang a model, right? It's so convenient that it's always telling them to go bang a model and not some random fucking grouchy ass cat lady down in Midwest Alabama or some shit like that. I'm Canadian. I don't understand your geography. So Forgive me there. But it's so fucking convenient, isn't it? And isn't it convenient when you can call your new relationship that is so incredibly disrespectful, if you can call it a constellation? Because conveniently, it all seems to revolve around ya dick. You feel me? You feel me? Oh, hey, bro. Hey, it's God. I just wanted to let you know that I think it would be a really good idea for you to get on a dating app and then maybe like impregnate that model. And like if your wife doesn't like it, it's because she's not ascended enough. Yeah, I just don't fucking think so. And I think it's so disrespectful to the spiritual niche in general and to spirituality in general to be using spiritual word salad, to have a so-called teacher sitting there co-signing it at all as if it's like an okay thing to do. It's wild to me because the most deeply spiritual people I have ever met don't use those terms. Some of them do. I'm not saying that, if you use those terms, you're not spiritual. That's not what I'm saying. Again, every single person is. That is a dimension of being a human being. But what I am saying is the more somebody has this desire to perform who they are, the more they're using window dressing, the more it's like, oh, I just wear a goddess dress every day. I'm never in a bad mood. I'm always standing on the side of an infinity pool. Aren't I inspirational? Aren't I aspirational? Shit like that gets us fucked up. It gets us fucked up because we think we want these things that are highly curated and highly aesthetic, but it's really chasing like a cardboard version of what these things are. You know what I mean? If somebody can say they're conscious, if somebody can kind of wrap things up in this bow and speak in absolutes and be able to communicate in such a way where it looks like you look like, oh man, if only I was more ascended, if only I was more tapped in, if only whatever, I could get these things I claim to want. Now, the energy for this and the update that I was getting and the message that I was getting was this, aside from all of that, whatever, live and let live, but ew. Aside from all of that, the message that I was getting is there's this fundamental lack of clarity. There is, if you go to the grocery store, let me know in the comments if you have this as well. I don't know if this is a Canadian thing or like what, but if there is in the grocery store, you can buy you can buy bags or like boxes of like ugly vegetables or ugly fruits. When you look at a fruit that is like an organic fruit that was born on a tree or a vegetable that was like coming from the ground or any of that sort of shit, it doesn't always look like the shit we get at the grocery store that has been like waxed up. It's like they make sure that we got to throw out this masses of food, even though there's people that are fucking starving because it's going to look a bit icky. It's going to look a bit icky for the person at the store. This is what spiritual influencing reminds me of. It's like it looks like something. It looks like inspiration. It looks like aspiration. But what the fuck is it really? What the fuck is it really? So if you are thinking, oh my goodness, like I really wish that I had love, if I had a depth of love that was super deep, super powerful, super conscious, super spiritual, and we can look at things like that. And if there's any sort of lack of clarity of what that actually is in the shit, which is where it fucking matters. We are all here. We are all bound on this earth, regardless of how spiritual we are, regardless of how spiritual we claim to be. We are here on this earth and we are living a lived, messy, experiential reality. You know what I mean? And so you don't get to ascend or transcend that. Every single person that is selling that illusion gets diarrhea. They might fart during yoga. They probably have to go to Costco and buy paper towels like the rest of us, or they send their whatever. Like they're not exempt from being a human being. And this is why in my work, I advocate so hard of like, you don't have to ascend, you need to descend. You need to realize that the messy lived experience of this life is where it's at. You don't get to bypass the hard parts, the agonizing parts, the parts where you don't know what you're doing. You can't figure it out. Oh my God, it hurts. It sucks. Like, oh, what am I doing? I don't even know. That is life. That is the essence and the fundamental seed of what we are going through here. Okay, I'm going to read these comments again. Thank you guys for commenting. Again, it's my second live. So if you're watching this, like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Y'all, we're figuring it out. Healing for hot messes. That's what we do here, babies. Talk to me. I human design, 1-3 line manifesting generator. My strategy is to respond. And if you don't know your human design, feel free to come get an energy reading with me. Feel free to do a session. We'll do this. Okay, so looking here. Sorry, I was driving. I have no idea who it is, but it's interesting to hear. I tried to watch the whole podcast and it was absolutely devastating for me to see just how some of these fucking spiritual influencer people, and I know I've had people say that's what I am, and I do not identify with that label. I write books. I'm a coach, and that's what I do. I don't think I influence. If anything, I hope I influence y'all to have more fun, to get messy, and to like really embrace the rawness of life. Okay, so looking here at the comments, I have racks of produce like that sometimes. Yes. It's crazy. We say we want authenticity, but the reality is our brains are so attracted to absolutes. They're so attracted to perfection, right? To this vision of what things could be. And I can say that fully as somebody that is that does have a spiritual business online, does have a platform, right? I write books. Here's my newest deck. Like I am online as a person who I don't like thinking of myself in the spiritual niche, but I guess that is where I am. But like there is that thing of like people say they want authentic, but in reality, and I can tell you this from the other side of being a creative in this space, people say they want authentic, but they want a highly curated version of authentic because you won't even get past someone's attention span for 3 seconds if you're authentic. It's wild. It's wild. So there's always some hoop jumping. But when it comes to our produce or whatever, it's the same thing. If you think you want this deep love and you see this idea that it's possible and that if you just put on a caftan and you decide to like really sacrifice, well, I guess I'm not evolved enough, so I guess my feelings don't matter. I guess I haven't made enough sacrifices. I guess I haven't done X, Y, and Z, and you let yourself get gaslit, which to me is secondary to the main point of how we all gaslight ourselves. If you have met somebody, tell me in the comments, have you met somebody who has had a relationship for 20, 30, 40, 50 years? Have you met somebody that has that relationship? Are they walking around talking about their conscious queendom and kingdom? Are they talking about their sacred union? Or are they in the shit together? Are they cleaning things up together? Are they figuring things out together? Are they bickering in the car? It's going through it, it's depth. This is the messy reality of life. So when we think, I want this love, I want this lifestyle, I want this business, I want this whatever the fuck it is, are we wanting the grocery store waxed apple version of this, or are we wanting the actual depth, reality, organic version of it? Okay, back to the comments. Thank you for indulging me here. I get a bit ranty, especially when something is trying to move through me, and if I don't get it out of me, it just festers. Thank you for liking this video too, you guys. I saw that, and I love you, and I love everyone who's sending me hearts. You guys, you're making this a lot better for me because, again, I'm doing this. I'm new. I'm putting in the messy motions because nobody gets to skip it. Not even me. Okay. I wish I could, though. Okay, so I used to get mine delivered from a couple of companies, not in the store. I completely understand what you're saying. Was so glad to see you go live. I was watching us. Oh, I love her. Okay, authentic as long as it's in the box of acceptable. Be yourself, but no, not like that. That's literally what it is. We want to be sold a fantasy. We want this. And even though we feel like we don't want this, we want it so deeply because the messy lived reality of what we are in is too much sometimes. So of course we're going to like the fantasy. Of course we're going to love the fantasy. But the fantasy is disappointing because it doesn't fucking exist. It's like we're getting catfished by our own desires. And so it's very important for us to Yes, to be clear about what it is we say we want and clarify it and really lean into the messiness of it. So I would like to increase I would like to get good at YouTube, right? So here I am being bad at YouTube. Almost every day, I try and show up or do something to move the needle to be a little bit shitty on YouTube so that one day I'll be a little bit good. That is how you have to do it. If you want to be in a partnership or something, if you want to have a love story that is epic and that is lasting through the ages, it's not fucking pretty every day. It's not. If you want a wonderful business, if you want to write a book, if you want, what is your desire? Tell me your desire. Put it in the comments below. What is your desire? And are you wanting the grocery store Apple version of that desire? Or are you wanting the organic, janky, full of life, full of biodiversity version of that? And it's important that we get clear about this. I always wanted to write a book. I have now written 5 and a deck. And I will tell you that my idea of what it was like to be an author, my idea of what it was to build a platform, my idea of what it was going to be like to be an author, to write a book, all of that thing was the grocery store Apple version of that desire. The actual reality of it is more organic and there's more depth and there's more power to it. But it's not what I expected. So the energy that's coming through right now with all of this is that we have to recognize not just the bullshit out there. And I probably should have led with this, but whatever. If people don't watch this to the end, then it is what it is. But we have to understand where the bullshit we see out there has made a home inside of us, inside of our minds, inside of our hearts, inside of our desires. Am I lusting after something that exists, or am I lusting after a highly curated version of something that does not have depth and that is actually leading me astray from my true self, right? From my true reality. Anytime I hear spiritual word salad, I check the fuck out so goddamn fast. It's actually unreal. And there's been so many times I've wondered if I start packaging my shit that way, right? I wonder if it could get bigger or something like that. I wouldn't be able to fucking do it because number one, it feels like such an awkward way to talk. Like I don't understand how people talk like that. Anyway, that's a side note. But it's like that's not what I want. I want true connection, right? I want to truly be able to like connect with people and work with people and like talk to people in the way that they fucking speak. It drives me nuts. It drives me nuts. And you know, there's people, oh man, I'm going to tell you guys a story and this was wild. There was a woman that came into my comment section once to disagree with me about something, which is fine. And then because I believe multiple things can be true at the same time, so whatever. But there was someone who came into my comments to disagree with me. And then one of my people, this was years ago, one of my people came in and kind of pushed back on her. And then this woman went, the initial woman whose page was all like it was very spiritual influencery. Oh, my sacred remembering. That was literally, which whatever, I try not to judge, but I was definitely judging when she went to the commenter that pushed back on her page and started body shaming this woman, commenting on this woman's photos, body shaming her. This was somebody who claimed to be a shadow worker and who claimed to hold space for, in her words, thousands of people. This is the ugly truth of a lot of these people, right? This is the ugly truth, is that what we claim to want can be ugly. Can we face that ugliness? Can we be okay with it? Can we recognize the value in it? And when that woman got pushed back on again, like, I can't believe you just came and body shamed me. It was weird to me because I'm going, do I have an ethical responsibility to air this bitch out and show people, like, be careful who you work with? But I didn't because it's not my place. It's not my place. I'm sure, I mean, God, even the beginning of this video, was full projection. I don't like what Aubrey Marcus is doing. It triggers my shadow. It triggers my abandonment wounds. And it triggers me want to stand up for those women. It triggers every little bit of me that thinks, you know, you shouldn't be allowed to fucking do that. It triggers me as a spiritualist that isn't out there trying to be full of shit. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what it is. So we all have our shadows, right? So that's fine. But you got to be careful because man, there's this theme that comes up in life, which is that the things in the most beautiful, most consumptionable, if that's a word, packages, whether it be the things we want, is it being an author? Is it being in love? Is it having kids? Is it having people love you? Is it creating that thing you want to create? There's an ugly side. There's an ugly side to it. And we need to be aware of that. And we need to recognize that if we are claiming to want something, we are claiming to want the reality of it. And we have to understand that it's going to make us need to shift and grow and evolve and change. We have to. We just have to. And we have to. So a lot of my work with people, whether it be like one-to-one sessions or in the collective or anything, like the work that I do with people mainly is about the messy lived experience of life, the messy reality of what we're fucking dealing with. No grand rising, no beloveds, none of that shit. Like, this is where you're at. Okay, let's figure it out. Let's deprogram it. And deprogramming is about going in and trying to pull up the roots of this bullshit. And any idea of perfection or things being picture perfect or things being some pedestalized version of whatever the fuck it is, it just doesn't exist. So those are the roots that have to come up the most, right? We have to pull that shit out. Okay, back to the comments. Thank you guys so much for commenting. I am not ashamed to admit that this is new for me, that this is cringe for me, and that I am leaning on your guys' support. So I just want to say thank you because I love it. I appreciate it. And I'm just so grateful for you. Okay, so YouTube is where it's at now. Oprah's building her channel. It's growing again. I desire to know the desire. Something feels like it wants to come out, but in what way? What even is it? I think I have to say, but something is almost lurking there. So I'd be interested to see your human design chart for one thing, but I would say if there is something aching to come out of you, you need to give that an outlet. Whether you're vocal toning, you're channeling, maybe you're fucking singing it out. Maybe I like to get in the car sometimes if I'm really having, like if I'm fucking in it. I'm in it. Getting in the car, sometimes I had one beautiful experience where I thought I was just at the end of my fucking rope. I got in the car and I just started channeling out and I just went, and I was like, where the fuck did that come from? It was a beautiful experience. I highly recommend it. I do that in the bath now. It works so well. Now, another way you could do it is writing. There's something that happens, and I know this because I'm a writer. There's something that happens when you know you're writing or creating for public consumption. You lose some edge, you lose some rawness. And if you want to clear that channel, clear that channel. And I mean, yes. I'm not going to, yeah. Okay. So if you want to clear that channel, what you have to do is move shit through that channel. If your sink in your bathroom is plugged, and I'm pointing right there because my fucking bathroom sink is always goddamn plugged. Because my husband says the plumbing is set up right. Anyway, that's the side note. You have to put the things in, you have to flush it out. You need to flush it out. So you need to allow that channel to open. You need to let yourself feel safe to have that channel be open. And then you need to flush it out. You need to get it out until it becomes second nature to you. There was a time, guys, anybody watching this, my real name is Amanda McLean. Mandi M is a fake name. It is a fake name because I never wanted to show my face. I never wanted to say my identity. I boxed myself up in this way because I was afraid. I was a scaredy cat, right? And look how that turned out. But it's because I did the reps and I open those channels and I keep them open. I keep them open. I keep them open. Going live is a great way to keep me honest. It's a great way to keep my channels open. And I'm actually really kind of pleased that going live on here is very much this kind of similar to going live on Instagram. But You have to keep those channels open until it becomes second fucking nature. If you don't know what your desires are, it is time to bud. It is time to go inward and listen to yourself, because when we are all cluttered up with all the shit that's out there, I desire this. Is that realistic? Nobody gives a fuck. Do you think the Wright brothers getting in a plane and flying in the goddamn sky was realistic? Don't let other people put a lid on your desires or the things you say you want. Anyway, okay, so yes, I took a lot. You're doing awesome. So glad you're doing more lives over here. Thank you so much for being here, April. That's me now. I won't do Zoom yet. Zoom, like, do you mean like hosting a Zoom? Being on the Zoom? Zoom. Won't do. Yeah. Let me know what you mean by that. I'm very curious about that. Oh, I thought I just tried to, I guess you can't like comments here. Okay. Anyway, so that's basically what it's about. Is essentially I just had this very deep desire to talk about that situation and yeah, having the camera on. Oh, I see. Yes. Very understandable. That's understandable. So it's funny because I teach confidence, right? And people don't. I had someone once barrel into my DMs, talk about triggering my shadow, barrel into my DMs and be like, what would you know about confidence? Like, look how confident you are and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, y'all, I was not always like this. I have learned, and sometimes I wonder if I'm an energy vampire, because I have learned to take the attention and the discomfort that I feel with it and use it as a source of power. So when I was teaching Delusionally Sexy, which is my confidence program, it was funny because we had a whole lot of modules in there on energetics, because it is all energetics. And our first gatekeeper for energetics for anything that we want is always going to be ourselves. We kind of think like, oh, well, this person will say this and that person will say that. No, it's the thing inside of you that co-signs what those people are saying that stands in the way. I also don't like clothes, by the way. That was responding to a comment if anyone's watching this on replay. So the energy of right now is basically just trying to tell us to really get rid of the bullshit in our own hearts, get rid of the bullshit in what we claim to desire, and really understand to see things for what they are in reality. So for me, I've been in a relationship for 20 years, which is a little bit crazy when you think about it, because to me, it still feels like the first day every day, which is obviously it doesn't in a lot of different ways as well. But like, we very much have newlywed energy, which is, I think, bizarre for 20 years in, but it is something that is possible. But that's because I'm not a person who has a high amount of expectations. And I feel like there's people out there, I know some of them, who very much live in this fantasy world, this fantasy reality. And it's like they kind of sabotage their own happiness by clinging to a fantasy rather than accepting the version of reality that is true. And so it's something that I think can be so corrosive and so eroding to not only our own confidence, but our own potential in life, you know? Okay. Oh my gosh, New Zealand. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. A picture of Venus and the moon. So cool. This is me just reminding you guys again, like this video if you haven't. If you're new here, please subscribe. I do get a little bit ranty, so if you like someone ranting about spirituality and acting a little bit unhinged, then here I am. Hi. Well, I'm so glad that you are here, Alex. We are just talking about discernment. We are talking about spiritual influencers. We're talking about the Aubrey Marcus situation and like basically the fact that we need to get clear on our desires and what we want and the realistic nature of what that actually is and what that's actually going to look like. All right. So before I here, let me just see. Understanding that I can control my own actions was key for me in changing how I approach my most recent relationship. Married for 14 years this year, and we laugh until we cry every day. Yes, and I love that, and it does get to be like that. It does get to be like that. I believe that love exists if there are two people that are willing to work on it, I believe you can have the kind of relationship that you want. And I don't think anybody needs to gaslight themselves into thinking they're not ascended if they're not doing whatever their fucking partner tells them what they want to do, or that they can't speak up for their own desires, what they want in a relationship, what you want in life. Everybody has that right. We are here for a limited time, you guys. Tick, tick. Why are we spending it doing dumb shit because we feel like we have to for bare minimum bitches? I don't know if you can even say that on YouTube. Sometimes I'm like, am I shadow banning myself by allowing myself to speak? Lordy. Okay. But all you can do is control your own actions. It's crazy because I feel so alienated from people so much of the time because there's so much of this, like, this, I can't because of this person. I can't because of that person. And my life would be better if only XYZ. All you can control is the things that you can control. I am a huge advocate for radical responsibility, radical self-responsibility. Is there a bunch of shit in our lives that we can't control? Fucking obviously. But what's the point of projecting this helplessness on all of that shit out there instead of orienting towards what we can do in here? And that works for relationships, that works for spirituality, that works for career ambitiousness, go-getterishness. It's a word. I feel like as an author, I'm allowed to invent words, just so you know. But it's true. All we can do is control what we can control. There is an immense gift and an immense power at being able to look at what you can and can't control, sort it quickly, and address it accordingly. Loving it. I was surprised to come on here and you're on a live. Had to grab my I appreciate you being here, guys. I'm really trying to do more on here. Instagram and Facebook, the Meta-owned platforms, they are actually not, I realize, okay, so I do creative coaching with people. I do creative cosmology. I help people bring their projects to life. I help people show up authentically online because I'm fully delusional for myself and also for you. And I think everybody needs to have a little bit or a lot of Delulu in their corner, but in a good way. Not the, like, I'm opening my marriage because God phoned me up and told me to go bang a model. I'm not that kind of Delulu. I'm talking about the kind of Delulu that says, is that realistic? Respectfully, I don't give a fuck. That kind of Delulu is the kind of Delulu I'm talking about. Okay. So when I do, sorry, distracted by the comments. So when I do creative coaching with people, it's all about, like, what are you wanting? What are you wanting to do and how to get out of your own way? Radical responsibility. Okay, well, I think I'm going to go because I think it just fucking word vomited out about as much as I could. But thank you guys for being here. Oh yeah, that's what I was about to go off on. Okay, one more thing. I do creative coaching with people and I firmly believe that people can do things their own way. Friendly reminder to like this video and subscribe. Sorry I keep having to do that, but your girl is trying to reach around the algorithm, grab its sweet nuts and make something happen. See, and I just sang that as well, so it deserves a like. So basically when it came to the Meta platforms, I was feeling really frustrated all the time, really not creatively fulfilled. I feel like I built a really large audience there of people who just see me as a clown. And I'm actually here to do deep work with people. I'm here to connect with people. I'm here to write. I have a platform. I have a lot of big things to say. I feel like my message is important. I think fuck ascension. I think we need to get back to the messy, wild reality of life, right? Of being a human being. That's why I do the Feral Self-Care Collective. That's why I do all of my work, is because of that. And I realized that I wasn't practicing the way I preached because the safe thing for me was to stay on Instagram with my 50,000 followers or whatever that just see me as a clown. So I decided, why don't I go somewhere with more depth? On Instagram, I was feeling like, oh, I only have like 3 seconds to catch attention. How do I do this? And I recognized that just had such dry coochie energy that I was like, why can't I go somewhere with more in depth? I believe anything is possible. I believe if you are authentic, you are magnetic. I believe if you have a big message, then you are the channel and you are more than what you are doing. You were chosen to let these ideas and let these teachings and let this stuff move through you. Maybe you're an artist. Maybe you write books. Maybe you want to have a newsletter. Maybe you want to, whatever the fuck you want to do, you were chosen. So allow your channels to open and allow that shit to move through you. Get your ego out of the way. The ego is never like, I'm not saying, the ego is a bad thing. There's obviously good things in ego, but it can lead you astray. It can lead you to the safe choice. And I had to have a really deep conversation with myself and say, am I staying here because I think this is where I feel best? Or am I staying here because it feels like the safe choice? And it feels like the safe choice. So starting over on YouTube feels fucking shit. But here I am doing it. You know why? Because anything is fucking possible. This is a limited time experience. When I thought about my desire, do I want this? Do I want the grocery store version of this, or do I want the organic version? I want the organic version. So here I am, bugs and all, wonky as fuck, belonging in that janky vegetable box. Okay. Mandi, you said you're a Virgo. What's moon and ascendant if you don't mind. I feel like it's so on brand for me, but I'm a Virgo sun, Capricorn moon, Libra rising, and then I have a Sagittarius stellium. Now, I'm a human design girly, not an astrology girly. So if you're a human design person, I'm a manifesting generator, but like in the most fucking quintessential form. I'm basically ADHD personified in what looks like a bad wig. And then I'm a 1-3 line. 1 means I will never think I know enough. And 3 means I am destined to experiment in the public and get it right, get it wrong, and see where I fall. Okay. Your ego is not always your amigo. I love that. Oh God, that's so good. Oh, the Sag. Yeah. Yup. And one of the craziest things is like one of my best friends is a Sagittarius, but she's a Virgo rising. And I'm like, is this why we connect so good? Okay, looking here. So glad you're on YouTube. I deleted all my socials about 6 months ago. So glad I can keep up with you now. I'm so glad as well. Yeah, it's really hard. So with our we have like a seasonal membership called the Feral Self-Care Collective, which we do weekly live sessions, you guys. Weekly live sessions. They're so fucking fun and it's so powerful. But our group is on Facebook and we're kind of looking towards options for moving the group portion out of Facebook because I've noticed a lot of people that come in the program have to use like a fake alt account just to be in on the group. I'm trying to dive into human design, but it's a lot. I'm getting into human design, but so confusing. I'm going to tell you guys something that might be unpopular. And that is that I actually only use very basic elements of human design with my work. So anytime someone does one-to-ones with me, anytime somebody gets an energy reading from me, by the way, I updated my shop and now I have like energy readings that are just the energy reading, not the giant PDF, because I was trying to keep the cost down to help more people. And I also have session packages on sale right now, just so you know, because I don't like doing one-off sessions. No offense to anybody that's done a one-off session with me, but I just think you can do more if you have multiple sessions. So, but anyway, when I do work with people, I always do their human design chart because, like, for example, when I'm doing creator cosmology or creative coaching with people and someone's like, I can't stick to a niche, and I look at their chart and they're like a manifesting generator, I'm like, okay, you need to take that thought and you need to take that little insecurity, you need to wrap it up in a little ball and you need to throw it in the fucking trash because that's not meant for you. That struggle is not meant for you. So there's other ways to orient yourself, right? So with creative coaching, what I do is I do this cosmic map so that if you are a manifesting generator, or if your problem is procrastination, or if your problem is like XYZ, here's what you should orient towards, because there is no one size fits all approach for anything. Spirituality, love, relationships, literally fucking name something, name it. And there's no one size fits all approach. I guess unless it's like body stuff, because I mean, we all we all get gas and we all have to bathe and we all have to do the things. But I mean, that's the messy reality of life. Again, we started this out talking about spirituality. We started this out talking about the messiness. You don't get to ascend. If someone is telling you they're going to ascend, congratulations. They're giving you a red flag. Fucking look at it and listen to it. Anyway, we're going to keep moving. So when it comes to human design and I do people's charts, I actually do like really basic elements. I don't do gates channels. I don't do that sort of thing because I find, and I did like start taking a reader course. And then I was like, you know what? I feel like I've learned what I need to learn. And I feel like I'm good with this, which is again, a very manifesting generator thing. So what's that? I need to find the actual full quote because this came up in a session yesterday. And I think it's important. It's one of the most important things. And I talk about this a lot with people that I work with, especially and particularly if they're manifesting generators, which is that quote, jack of all trades, master of none. That is the quote that the common lexicon or whatever the fuck you want to call it, that is the common quote. Jack of all trades, master of none. Sounds a little bit detrimental, sounds a little bit judgy, sounds a little bit limiting, but the full quote is jack of all trades, master of none, though oftentimes better than a master of one. Multi-passionate people, hear me and hear me clear. There is a place for you. There is a place for your passion. There is a place for your multidimensionality. God, I get sweaty and fired up during these things. I just can't. I can't. Okay. Oh my God, Aiden. Fangirl moment. Okay. Hi, Aiden. Major guru-itis. Side effects may include messages from God telling you to bang conveniently models under 30. It's always models under 30. It always is. They're not like, hey, why don't you go bang that big hairy deli guy in that New York deli that's like, hey, you want a fucking sandwich or not? God's never telling people to go bang that guy. Or maybe he is. I don't know. Maybe we're not picking up the phone. Okay. April, I know I'm a 5-1 generator and that's about it. Well, if you ever want to do a session with me, we can dive in on that. But I love the 5-1. So my husband is a 5 as well. Actually, no, he's 5-2. 5 lines. There's some shit with 5 lines. I'll tell you that. A lot of projection from other people. Generator energy is also amazing. Okay, so I'm going to go because this became unfortunately a little longer than I expected. But please, if you guys are watching this, like this video so that the algorithm gets its little taint tickled. The algorithm tickles its taint. And feel free to share it with people if they like, I guess, unhinged witch energy. I don't know. Anyway, and if you're new here, feel free to follow this channel. I would love to give you a clear idea of what it is we do here, but mainly we just celebrate messy imperfection. We celebrate chaos witchcraft and we celebrate unhinged authenticity. And we call out bullshit. Okay, I love you guys all so much. And I truly, truly, truly hope that you have the best day ever. Thank you so much for being here with me. And yeah, take care.